hit me up on my email. You know what I'm saying? If you're into, or if you'd like to get into, you know what I'm saying, astrology or just any type of consultation. Because I can come at all forms of life, all people, no matter what you into. I can break down anything and make it make sense in your way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, hit my email up. It's in my goddamn YouTube description. Like when you look about me and shit, I'll get to that. And my Instagram, which is probably easier because you know Instagram is fast paced. All these social media things. Emails is kind of like late, outdated, but they you better believe I still be like checking my email and looking at it a lot because they are still essential. Now that's first and foremost. So yeah, I do, you know, consultations about, you know, the path you need to be on, your business journey, what you need to be doing as business, what you came here for type shit. It can be traumas, like subconscious shit, you know what I'm saying? I do dream interpretations, you feel me? And I do like karmic type of like, where it's like you can see where you come from, even all the way down to a past life per se. Now, I don't go too far into how other people seem to think that these things mean something like that they think, but I think of it more like, or I know of it more like it's something you have embedded in you that's that can play out, or it it comes to be where you be a certain way. So you might have, it plays out like traits. Like you might have a whole bunch of likes, dislikes, you know, mundane things about certain items, certain foods, certain fucking ways people do things, mannerisms, all this shit, smell, all this shit. So all that shit can actually uh that shit can trickle down and come from, now it can trickle down to the physical, but it come from you being in a certain vibe and you mentally going through certain, you know, like travels all the goddamn time. But yeah, I ain't gonna get too far into that because this shit is Lilith part 2, and I was gonna do a video about how you should view your dreams and dream interpretations and stuff. But that ain't this one. I decided to do this one right here. So, all right. So y'all, so if you ain't seen part 1 of Lilith, the darkness that we all hide from type shit, go look at that. I might stick it in the description. If not, man, it's the only title on my shit that says Lilith, and then something about. Oh yeah, it's a picture of me. I got a flame. I was like this, and I was talking at night. But yeah, so go watch that, cause now I'm gonna get into it a different way. Where if you watch that though, which basically all I said was Lilith is a first, something you discover as a spirit, as an individual, like soul. You just own your own vibe and have your own vibe. When you were in a more lighter form, Matt, because we know forms ain't gotta just be physical. You got forms that you can think about. No, you have things you can think about that has to be lighter because it's there, but you can't tangibly touch it. Anyways, so, you know, when you conjuring up as a soul, you conjuring up the things that basically suit you, these abilities, these traits that suit you, because we all have the same like traits or accesses. We all got the 7 keys to certain like things that are just following us, because for us all to be here, we all have to share the same type of abilities. Now, the difference is the way you vibe to manifest your type of abilities and the way you use it as a spirit, period, how you move with it. Because it's not like something's making you move like a fucking magic hand outside of you, or things just happen because that's how it is. No, it's because you, me, other people are making the every second moments count, even if you're not quite conscious of everything at the moment. Like you have things following you that's helping you be conscious at the moment. But that's some other shit. That's the spiritual shit. You know what I'm saying? We always getting help simultaneously. Like it's always interactions and stuff. Even if you feel like, you know, things ain't that important, that's just you letting either one of your lower desires like run you down the path, or that's other people letting, like, basically controlling you, where you outside of yourself and looking at yourself from the lenses of other people and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? I miss my, I need something hot. Nah, that's why I got the smoke here. It's the morning time. I just need water. It don't gotta be hot. But I do need to spark it up so all this expression could have some lesson on this part. I just said something right there. Anyways, so yeah, your Lilith right now, the name Lilith, you know, that people classified as a meaning behind it, but they came up with the wording and the spelling to conjure up the whole word Lilith. It's just what you discovered first as a spirit before you was in the physical, because it always is a mental, a form, a cycle, a lighter spectrum, and then it manifests to the physical. So you, when you was conjuring up your shit, okay, to be born as a whole thing, a whole man or a whole a whole male or a whole female, then it's almost like these are one of the first things that you first discovered. Because everything else came to you, but the Lilith is something you seen for yourself. So it's a feeling that is covered up with everything else layered over it. So it's like everything that's more like usable to you, like you view things all the time, your son. You act all the time. You got other ways, people, ego that you want people to see you as in a certain sense, to some degree. So it's like, but that's lets you know that this is something passed down after the fact, according to you yourself. You have a time that you consider yourself as when it's all said and done. You got Saturn, the position, you know, time, your own business, and you got your own like, you know, other things like your views and shit, and your moon, the shit that keeps you safe and comfortable, and you're able to mind things and create minds and interpretations and understanding. That's your moon and shit. That's your reactionary state, because you're reacting always when somebody throws something on you, and then you reenact how you feel. That's following it, and then your sun is just putting out a way you want to be seen, type shit. So that's the sun. So, you know, those things, that's some other shit that came after the fact. And like I said, it's more utilizable. But Lilith is something that's like in the dark, where it's like, you know it's there, but the way, you know, since you made it as a spirit, a lighter form, you know, you started conjuring up shit, but first it started from the Lilith. Like after that, when you start manifesting and actually get born, you know, it's easy to forget certain shit. Just like you forget certain shit that actually happened in your physical life. You can forget the way you may have made that happen in the first place. But what's in the first place? It has to start from the first set mind that you was in, to keep going over and over in a routine, some way, somehow, thinking about that, or just putting in energy some way, like you feel a certain way, and it's pertaining to that. And then boom. Feel me? So, shit, I started flying all over the place though. But just know though, you know, to start from, okay, not just know, just listen to me, y'all. Just to start from, y'all know I be getting serious when it comes to certain shit, cause I like believe. And it's not even just the word, it's just what we all have. Now, your Lilith, this is the attribute of your Lilith. So it's like something you first discover. And like I said, when it manifests into you conjuring up an actual born physical body to give all this energy that you were once emitting and obtaining when you were in lighter form. So you were just more here, there, trying to be born, trying to keep a routine, trying to keep a physical. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know I don't talk about this that much, but that's what's going on. Because Lilith is most tied to your first absent, naked form, which is nothing. You're no thing. Because everything you're in, when you look at what's behind that, when you look at what's observing that, it's nothing. That's why when you dream, you shouldn't look into the mirror, because you ain't gonna see nothing. Shout out to Titus. Shout out to that nigga Titus. My boy be gaming and shit. You know, as I know him from Instagram. Soul Group. Shout out. Jupiter Boys. So yeah, I gotta talk of spiritual though, because Lilith is basically the first. It's almost like that's the discovery you use in order to keep keep your vulnerability. Like, I ain't getting to the point of when it's physical and you look at it from like this way, like just the regular physical way, like how you just feel or how it'll come to be. Like, Lilith played more like how I said, okay, discover, right? Lilith would play more like down here, more in a in time form of, oh, you might feel vulnerable if, like I said, it was a feeling that you discovered. You might feel vulnerable if that feeling that you discovered on your own, but somebody else might use that energy, but it's not like they seen it like your first form. And then before that form, you're like naked, you're like nothing as a spirit, as a space for you to even observe anything in the first place. You know? So, Lilith is like the shit that you might feel scared of or embarrassed about, because you don't, because it's like when a feeling is thrown on you, your spirit know what kind of feeling it was, and if that goes straight, like Lilith is like straight through everything, all the defenses, all the Saturns, the Jupiter, the fucking sun, the moon, the goddamn Mars, the Venus, like that shit punctures all of that. And you go straight into being like a straight observer, just a space, just like a nothing. You know what I'm saying? Remember, you can't ever be conscious of something that's unconscious. You can't be conscious of black darkness, nothing happening. There's no such thing. And if you want to think of it like that, that's like God, if anything. That's like the all possibility of, oh, there's nothing happening, but that's what makes you something. AKA meditating and clearing all thoughts where you're not doing no thoughts, no train of thought, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's when you get into being just, nothing, light and shit. But Lilith goes all the way back to when, like I said, you got this feeling, and that's what supported you emotionally. And then from that, you had an actual dictator, a time scale that you won't go beyond unless you basically go against your own system. And sometimes you got to do that, but you go against your own system and like think outside the box in your own box. So you got a time frame that you see it as, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? You might have proof from people that's like grew up like around your age, but at the same time, everybody got different time. So, business and shit. But their own business, like when you handle your own business, ain't got nothing to do with actual business sometimes. Like worldly job, but it got something to do with your timing and what you gotta handle, what you gotta do type shit. So yeah, these two things, Lilith and that, is like your first two, like, oh shit, this is your combo to, this is your first. Now it also pertains to the sun too. Don't forget that, and low key the North Node, but you gotta correlate that how you correlate that. But you just gotta know that, you know what I'm saying, Lilith is dealing with the insert more too, by the way, I didn't say, but it's something that's on the inside, even though it's a feeling you discovered when you were first in an esoteric space of where we all can obtain and start basically conjuring up, doing the routine of manifesting and actually becoming tangible and shit, and holding on to a position. to keep things going, just like you do as right now. You try to hold on to a position of a relationship or a fucking position of a job, right? You know what I'm saying? Position of a stance with somebody else or something. So you did that as a spirit. Spirit. But yeah, you know, Lilith don't play, okay? And you also have to use that though to empower yourself, because that helps remind you of who you are, or what you even come from as a beginning type shit. Like, so if your Lilith is in a beginning, but it's more correlated to the moon era, like the darkness, the inner, the receiving. So this is more pertaining to like a motherly energy, but it's like a dark mother, because mother just simply means a container or a place, a world, you know what I'm saying, that you can see out from, because you have to be in a world, be in a mind frame, be in an emotional state to see out from that state. And sometimes you might be negative with the thoughts you gain from being in that state, but you're in a vibe, you're in a world though. So that's how Lilith play out, more receiving. So if you got it in, let's say, Earth, you're gonna be more like masculine about your shit, because if Lilith is in Earth, then that means everything, the first thing you discover, okay, as an inner, as yourself, as an individual, was something about practice, something about correcting, something about thinking to yourself, something about practicing it externally to yourself, something about, time, effort, frustration sometimes. So that's all about basically you handling shit on your own in some way. So that's like, but since Lilith is receiving, and it's another receiving energy of Earth, because Earth is still feminine, because you gotta take time and console and nurture. That's like receiving thoughts, your own thoughts, talking to yourself, inner. That's all in dark. You can't see that, but it's there. So that's all that type of shit. Now you practice it and you see physical Earth, but that came from a perspective of, but see, even when you look at Earth, you still use it. So like the feminine energy just lets things happen. It just goes with what's going on. So you can look at tangible things like, okay, I'm using this, so it's feminine because it's being used. That don't mean that in all realms of reality though. Just because you're getting used don't mean it's always feminine. But for the most part, actually, it does. So our celebrities be getting used and they actually more fit. Like if it's a dude, they more feminine. Even if they got their own business, shout out to you for getting that bread, but you still are being used. So you like more feminine, and that's why you can't actually have more firepower to come up with your own true shit, because you're getting drained in ways you don't know. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, to go back on Lilith, you feel me? It's in the earth sign. I think I spilled water. It didn't reach my shirt. To keep it G though, Lilith, goddammit, is just something you don't want to be exposed with. You feel me? Because it's like an exposed. It's like if somebody has the same element as you in a different way, so the way they think of whatever energy you had Lilith in, it could have been fire, water, earth. And then the way that they use that fire, water, earth, is it mutable, versatile? Is it fixed, like their own way, and it stay like it's consistently theirs? Or is it, them bringing in a new, or making a new, or like springing their own, whatever that is, element, their own earth, springing their own fire, springing their own water emotion. But you gotta think of what the water, fire, all that shit means. Like, what's the word that is behind that word to get it more pinpointed? Because we can talk about element fire. Okay, well, some people say fire burns, which it does. But what is it burning through? So you're saying it hurts? Fire hurts? Well, if that's the case, then that means fire is more of a feeling that you get hit with, and it makes you say it right after. You see the image and you say it like fire, it burns you like, ah. So it's like, so that's why fire signs or fire energy seems like, oh, it's like boom, boom, fight fire with fire type shit. It's like arguing. But it's just because people motherfuckers expressing what they getting hit with at the time being. Like an idea. But anyway, so Look, you gotta empower yourself using Lilith. Because like I said, that's some shit you did as a spirit, and that helps you understand individuality too at the end of the day. Now, depending on how you deal with it as a spirit, you might manifest certain situations more negative, where it's like you end up getting embarrassed or you don't want to express it because you think you're going to get embarrassed. So both ways, you think it to yourself, not wanting to do it, or you put it out and you think you, or situations where people put it on to you because you didn't externalize or manifest it, somebody actually putting it out there. It just depends. Negative. I mean, that's the both of the negatives, and the positive one could be, it'd be funny situations, or it'd be, even if it's negative, it's like you was able to think to yourself like, it wasn't all that bad. So it happened more positive. The whole situation, the whole circumstance itself, the whole circle of the life. But so yeah, Earth is more like a masculine, because remember I say Lilith is more feminine. Like the sun is masculine, the moon is obviously feminine. You know what I'm saying? Jupiter is what got both at that point. It depends what side, what way you're using Jupiter. Because Jupiter is all about learning and going through things so you can learn. So sometimes you gotta interpret what's going on. So that's you talking, you receiving emotions, connections with others, and then you can come up with your own reasoning and meaning of why things are going the way they are, and come up with your own philosophical view type shit. And then the way you can put it out, though, because I was receiving, the way you can put it out is like feeling something and putting out there like, this is why you see it, and expressed it like that, and this is the reason why, because this and that, and you put a new philosophical way of viewing that in it. That's the external. But you feel me? That's just to break down that, okay, that's what I mean by masculine and feminine. But yeah, it's feminine, earth, masculine, as a whole nature. Now, Lilith being in air, what happened more like, or will play out more like, what happened will go like this, right? It'll be like, you are afraid of, you're afraid of what's being put out there more. So whereas Earth is gonna think to itself, make sure it practices things for itself first. So whatever it presents in whatever way, it's basically wishing to get accepted. But so that's feminine, low key as a whole. Not really. It's still, but the way it's gonna look is masculine. Like on the esoteric realm, the internal realm, we all have access to. It's gonna, like how we conjured up ourselves, make mind frames, make vibes in the first place and shit. It's like it's gonna look more feminine, but the way it's gonna look is more masculine because it's more frustrating. This one, the air sign, is gonna be more masculine on the inside, because when it comes to communicating, it has two sides. You have an internal way of communicating too, So, like when you talk to yourself, you're basically gonna be afraid of it's early, y'all. It's like 5:55, I'll say. Maybe a little early. It's probably like 6. But yeah, air is gonna be more like masculine but on the internal realm, because it's like, or as a whole, because on the internal realm, it's like you're talking to yourself, not wanting to get embarrassed, not wanting things to get exposed the way you can rationalize it, because you are able to, uh, talk, travel, think, you know what I'm saying, in ways where other people can't quite pinpoint how you did that type shit, basically. But it's like, it's your own way. So it'll be like on the internal realm, you don't even want to, like, well, it depends. It's good and bad to everything. So depending on what spectrum you are as a spirit using that air Lilith, it's like you would either externalize things a lot, because on the inside you are already talking a good amount about that certain thing, Like you got mind chatter about that Lilith type shit to go wrong, so you externalize it a lot, or you uh um you ignore it on the inside. You know what I'm saying? But you can even ignore it on the inside and still like verbalize it a lot, some way, somehow, because maybe the people you're around or the energy you interact with always summons that type of element, which is your Lilith. So you feel like you exposed or like embarrassed, remember. So, you feel me? Uh, yeah, so it just depends, but as a whole though, it's gonna be more of a masculine, feminine. Because you want people to accept you and how you speak and how you rationalize and how you want them to see what you saying type shit. On the inside, they gotta see, and then on the outside, it's like, okay, they can relate to that. They can see where you coming from, and like, yeah, make it make sense to themselves maybe at some point. Not too much on the sense part. They just gonna rationalize it in their mind, like just think about it, travel in their mind. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Now, anyways, now let's go to goddamn water Lilith. Water Lilith is straight up fucking feminine, right? Because now I low key want to correct myself. I feel like it's low key more masculine. Yeah, because Earth is more masculine too. So Lilith in a water sign could play out more like, so yes, it's Earth, um, Earth, Lilith plays out more internal. Earth Lilith is more masculine, external, when it comes down to the physical part, because they practice it and think to themselves, right? So whatever they present, it's like they're gonna get frustrated and try to handle it on their own business. So that's like a mannish thing. So like a dictator. So yeah, that's that. Fucking air Lilith is feminine as a whole. They just want to get accepted and somebody to give them something, even if they externalize it a lot on the inside. It's like coming from a feminine place type shit. So, and then the water sign is gonna be more masculine, the way it look, because now as a whole, it's gonna be feminine, but as a way it look, it's gonna be masculine. My bad if I've been getting that shit confused, y'all. Like, cause it got two ways it plays out, from the internal outside type shit. So from the physical down here, what it look like in your face, and then a space where it come from, where we all can obtain like the internal realm, esoteric realm, and shit. So yeah, what? Water is all about you discovering a connection. You discovering a world that you can swim inside of and vibe with, and just go and flow, or put out emotions about how you experience things, or how you feel, or maybe go to a deep, dark emotion that you can kind of bind yourself to, like all kind of shit. But it plays out like a vulnerability, where that connection, if you do share it or somebody try to put it on you, it's like you don't want that shit to be just like put out there unless you do it. You know what I'm saying? Just like a Earth Lilith, they want to do it tangibly, do it, practice, have what they got, like, like if they needed some shit to have people over, like they want to make sure they the first ones to get the shit they need to present and to have like an item, a resource type shit, resources and shit. So water is like, well, I already got my emotions intact, and I already got emotional support. Remember, Lilith is a feminine planet. So it's like all about the depth. And if you in the depth and with water, it's like, well, damn, like you basically tapped into your Lilith all the time. But at the same time, since Lilith play out like a feeling that you first grasp, it don't. Then it's like that fire needs to be more like it can get hot real fast because it's so depth frozen up, not being messed with. The vulnerability ain't been uncovered. The ice ain't been broken on the inside. So it can be that type of water, or something to do with something that you was just you felt like you was in the world of at first. So like I said, it's like you wanting to basically initiate, right, with using that Lilith planet of a feeling, but it's like you are in a feeling that you want to put on somebody else, not, and you want them to connect to it. So it plays out like you initiating more, putting it out more. Like if you ever heard somebody putting out things more, that's more masculine. Like if they talk a lot, if somebody's like real hype, even if it's a female, like that's masculine natures. A dude that don't talk, if people try to say, oh, that's sophisticated, that's a real man. Well, that real man got a lot of feminine nature. If they like are more quiet, more introvert, or they rather not say much type shit, that's more feminine. Cause that means everything that's going on, you receiving what's going on, even if you're talking to yourself. So that's to get that straight, feel me? But all right, so that's water. Water play out more fucking masculine. All right, cause yeah, okay. Whew, god damn, why? I be fucking with the spirit, okay? I love it. Cause like, you just learn so much. You just learn so much. But, yeah. And last but not least, the fire Lilith. Shout out to the fire Liliths out there. I'm one of them. So fire Lilith, okay, this is probably more correlated to what actually Lilith is in the first place. Because like I said, Lilith is more fiery. It's like a feeling. So like I said, something you get hit with, like, or get impacted with. And you're like, boom, oh, you express. But since it's on the nature of the dark side, what you first felt to cloth yourself, like to almost like to use as a spirit, like you always in space, even when you was controlling lighter forms, like something like Lilith. Cause you can look at it now in a physical form and that lets you know Lilith ain't nothing nowhere near Earth, like type shit. Your heart chakra connection time is more near when you take all of these layers off, like I was explaining, and it ain't nothing there no more. So that's more like a feeling, because feeling is lighter than a fire. Remember, feeling is fire. If I didn't say that, my bad. Shout out to Dolo though. Feeling is fire, and emotion is something you connect to. So emotion is more heavier because it's a manifested spectrum of like water, a container, and and then feeling is more like something that could be shot off, or something that's just like you can clearly see the fire element of the sun, but it's still light enough where it's not manifested into a physical, actual, tangible, earthly, hard thing. It's more of a spectrum light, so it's emitted. So we can see it like it's a physical form, but it's still not. It's transparent because it's light. So that's what fire is, and that's what, no matter what modality, no matter how that fire moves, whether sporadically, rather fixed, like I said, like the sun, like it's in a position, or rather like a spark to first get emitted, or first sight, or a new self, or individual perseverance type shit, personal development type shit. There we go. All those type of ways fire can move. Just know though, it's all about the goddamn the physical. Not the physical. The first feeling, because that's what goddamn Lilith is. It's the first feeling, so that's something you get hit with, which is correlated to fire. And if it's the first thing protecting your spirit, even if it's the feminine nature, it has to be light. It has to be hella light, because as a spirit, the more you use forms, to start representing yourself and start keeping that as a position and keep going over that and keep basically manifesting into a physical, all right? That's when you get to understanding that, okay, Lilith is more correlated to the fire nature. And so, anytime you got Lilith and fire, you always are embarrassed about, this plays out more feminine, but you're always embarrassed about somebody else throwing something on you that's like a feeling, that's like a vision that you actually use that modality or that way of that fire, and it makes you feel like, damn, did I not put it out there first? Because fire is all about the initial, like the starter, or the one that has to be the one to push out a vision. So it's more masculine, right? But since it's a feminine planet, the way in the physical it manifests into, like I said, like the realm of where we all connected, that's one way. But this way, the way it looks in the physical will look more feminine. As to the air element too, that shit plays out more feminine, even if it sounds super rational and like, you know what I'm saying, like it is what it is type shit. You can't do nothing about it. Like the way they said it, like that's basically like somebody, I mean, no. You need other people. As far as air, you need other people to like basically help you feel, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let me make sure to help you feel, hold on. To make you feel, okay, I had to make sure, I was saying, I had to make sure you couldn't see nothing down there. But yeah, make you feel, actually, yeah, let me look at this. Let me look at this. Because I'm pretty sure you can't, but. Feel me. I'm gonna spark up to that one, man. Oh shit. But yeah, the fire, that play out more feminine because it's like you getting hit with feelings. You get hit with feelings. You know what I'm saying? You get hit with feelings. You know what I'm saying? All right, bet. Yeah, I couldn't see that. So you get hit with basically, shit that you feel like, but it's like, I mean, not shit that you feel like, but shit that you once felt like at first, like the first hand to keep, hold. That's like something hold, right? That's like, but that's what you was doing as a spirit. You kept that, you discovered that thought, you discovered that feeling. I mean, and then you held on to that. You kept it close. And then from there, you know what I'm saying, you started obtaining the other shit. But it's like, that's your first, like, shit. So it's like, that's why when it's getting thrown onto you in a physical sense, you're embarrassed about it. Especially like if people around you affect you a certain way. You know, it's like, so if you got a lot of people that got fired, they just use the fire element. They use that fire element. It might throw you off because you think they are embarrassing you or something, or they throwing something onto you that you feel like you the one that discovered that, and you feel like they looking at you a certain way because you think because you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the mind's playing tricks on you type shit because you don't see it, like you're not seeing it, and then that's how I fucking play out like feminine, because you start receiving, like, because you're getting the fire thrown to you, so it's like boom, you getting hit. But since it's Lilith, it's impacting that part of you, it's like a dark place. You don't quite understand it, especially if you're not the one, because remember, fire is detached. You're not the one that's putting out the fire. You're not the one putting it out. So this is how air element get confused, or people that got air signs, you know what I'm saying, whatever. They get confused, like they forget, they need other people to basically accept them. Where fire, but they need to be the one to initiate the type of way they're being accepted in the first place for it to be even looked at to be accepted type shit. Like anytime a air sign says something or does something, they're forgetting that even if it's coming from them still, so it needs to be in their way. So that's what still makes it detached, like fire. But fire definitely needs to be the one to emit the fire, because if not, they're not gonna see it no other way, because fire detaches, it burns through. Fire and fire just create more fire, you know what I'm saying, more dramaticness. So this is why I always receiving type of energy. All right, shout out to the fire Lilith, you know what I'm saying. But that's it, that's all, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I have to come on here and make that part 2. You feel me? Shout out to the full moon in Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying? That shit was yesterday, Saturday. But it's still basically the remnants of that energy and what we've been conjuring up, planting the seeds from the fucking new moon. So, you know, everybody be safe. Love y'all, always. We lit. Stay with the spirit, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. It's the reflector. It'll reflect what you choose to neglect now.